Well, in 2017, we touched on this in the last interview. Elon Musk did an interview with Rolling Stone, and he said that my father has done almost every evil thing that you could possibly think of.
Yes.
And in the 2023 authorized biography, Elon said that he doesn't communicate with you at all. And according to this New York Times article, what they're saying is that the other family members claiming the child abuse is a lot of the big reason why the relationship is not in a good place.
Well, I don't know, this is a family that's at war with each other. So, one must look at the parallels or metaphors, similar things. Like anyone look at the US today, you'd think it's a complete disaster going on in the United States. I phone my daughters there and say, how's it going? They say, Dad, we don't see anything. We have a terrific time. It's wonderful where we live. That's reality in the US. But if I were to look at the media, I would think it's a flaming wreck, the United States, looking at that as a comparison. So no, Elon invited me. First of all, Elon and Kimball came over to South Africa when I turned 70. And at that time, it was 2016, I was very in favor of Donald Trump. And honestly, I get down on my knees now and thank God. I'm a God-fearing person. Thank God for Donald Trump. I mean, you people may not understand it, but where we live, we look at you with envy that you have Donald Trump. We envy you. We say, God, why can't we be like the Americans? Please, please. That's the reality, okay? So now, you spoiled there. You're all bad, spoiled people, so you can play around as you eat your ice cream. Do you understand? We can't do that. Anyway, I don't mean that to you personally, Vlad. I'm just saying, speaking in general. But
I got it.
Anyway, so the thing is, they came for my 70th birthday, which is rather nice because I just had an open heart operation. And I was still wearing a monitor and everything, radio monitor. And at that thing I told you before, I think, they brought 50 people from America with him that cast the Jungle Book and many, many famous, really famous people, that people have only heard of, And then one of them, John Favreau, he said to me, we believe you support Trump. And I said, yes, I support Trump. And they all laughed and carried on. And so, what a stupid thing. It was like a hilarious answer on my part. And then Favreau said to me, why do you support Trump? And he's an idiot. I said, no, I met Trump once and he's a wonderful person and he's like me. He does the same work I do. He's a private person. He's not a career politician who's never done anything. And so that's why. And they all laughed. No, they said he's a con man, he's a thief, he's a crook, he's this, he's that, which is all nonsense. And afterwards, Elon and Kimball, at that time, they were still necessary for them to pretend that they were Democrats or bleeding heart Democrats, because as Elon said, we had to do that because the Democrats were viewed as supporting the underdog. But since then, Elon has said it's quite obvious the Democrats do not support anyone but their own elite group. That's Elon's own words. But after that, Elon did say to the Rolling Stone magazine or something that I'm evil or something like that. He also told me that Trump's evil that time. When in that restaurant time, they told me Trump is evil. Anyway, as far as seeing Elon, 2023, Elon invited me to come to Boca Chica to the launch of the Starship. So I said, great. I said, I'll take everybody. So I brought Haida Marie, Rose, Alexandra, several other friends, and we all got into our Teslas. First, I went over to America, and we got into our Teslas and drove all the way to Boca Chica, where Elon and I were together for the launch of that Starship. After that launch, there was an evening with all the SpaceX employees. There must have been a couple of hundred of them. A fantastic party. It was a very successful launch, and a sort of a Hawaiian-themed party. Elon and I sat together through the whole party, and then at one point, Elon stopped the music and said, everyone, this is my dad. He taught me everything I know about engineering. To which I then said, no, you taught yourself a lot of things. And that was that. And the next day we had lunch, which was Sunday, and 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 Elon went off to his travels again, and we returned back to Austin. But that was the last time I saw Elon. Kimball and I had lunch with the Sheikh of Abu Dhabi in Abu Dhabi a few months ago. So that was a big lunch of 200 people. I was the guest of honor, and Kimball was a guest, and the Sheikh put us together, and